Stop. Before you scroll away, understand something. You don't have a stalking problem. You have an observation problem. You walk into a room and see people. A sharp person walks into a room and sees patterns. You see someone talking. A sharp person notices what they're saying, how they're saying it, what they avoid saying, how people react to them, and whether their actions match their words. That's the difference. And no, I'm not talking about following somebody home like a damn psychopath. I'm talking about becoming so observant that you stop getting fooled by appearances. Because let's be honest, you've probably been fooled before. Someone tells you, bro, I'm always busy, you believe them. Then somehow they're online for 6 hours every day. Someone says, I don't care what people think. Then they delete a post because it got 3 dislikes. Someone says, I'm going to change my life. And 6 months later, they're sitting in exactly the same chair, eating exactly the same garbage, complaining about exactly the same problems. Words are cheap. Patterns aren't. And if you want to become harder to manipulate, harder to fool, and better at understanding people, you need to master one skill: observation, not obsession. Observation, there's a massive difference. Real stalking is unwanted, repeated monitoring or contact that causes fear or distress. The CDC notes that stalking can include following, watching, unwanted communication, and using technology or social media to monitor someone without permission. About 1 in 5 women and 1 in 10 men in the United States report having been stalked at some point. That's not a game. That's not romance. That's not being persistent. That's crossing someone's boundaries. So forget that bullshit. The skill we're building is different. We're building awareness. We're learning how to read situations. We're learning how to research information that people have voluntarily made public. We're learning how to notice patterns without invading somebody's privacy. Because the most dangerous person in a room isn't always the loudest guy. Sometimes it's the guy who's paying attention. And that's what you need to become. First rule: stop looking for what you want to see. This is where most people screw up. You meet someone and immediately decide what you think about them. He's confident. She's arrogant. He's successful. She's insecure. And then your brain starts collecting evidence to prove you right. That's called confirmation bias. Your brain loves being right more than it loves discovering the truth. So train yourself to ask, what evidence do I actually have? Not what do I want to believe? That's a completely different question. Imagine you're looking at someone's social media. The amateur sees a luxury car. The amateur says, damn, this guy's rich. The observer says, is that actually his car? Is it rented? Is it old content? Is the lifestyle consistent? Does his behavior match the image? You're not invading anything. You're simply refusing to be hypnotized by a photograph. Because one picture can lie. Patterns are harder to fake. And that's your second rule. Watch patterns, not moments. Anybody can look impressive for 10 minutes. Anybody can post one motivational quote. Anybody can wear a suit. Anybody can rent a Lamborghini. Anybody can say, I'm built different. Congratulations, so is every guy on the internet. The real question is, what happens repeatedly? Does this person keep their promises? Do they show up on time? Do they treat people well when they have nothing to gain? Do they stay disciplined when nobody is watching? Do they panic under pressure? Do they blame everybody else? Patterns reveal character. One moment reveals almost nothing. And this applies to you. You don't need to stalk your own life like some detective. Just look at your calendar. Look at your bank statement. Look at your screen time report. Look at what you did yesterday. There's your personality, not your intentions, your behavior. That's the uncomfortable truth. You say you want success. Your phone says you want entertainment. You say you want discipline. Your schedule says you want comfort. You say you want confidence. Your actions say you're waiting for permission. Stop listening to what you say. Start studying what you do. Third rule: learn to ask better questions. Most people ask stupid questions and then wonder why they get stupid answers. Why am I unsuccessful? That's too vague. Ask, what did I do today that directly increased my chances of succeeding? Now you're getting somewhere. Why don't people respect me? Better question: which behaviors am I displaying that make people lose confidence in me? Why can't I focus? Better, what environments, habits, and distractions repeatedly destroy my concentration? Questions turn confusion into investigation, and investigation creates clarity. You don't need to become some creepy detective. You need to become curious. Curiosity is a weapon. When you meet somebody successful, don't just admire them. Study the process. What do they do every morning? How do they make decisions? What do they refuse to do? What do they repeatedly practice? What sacrifices are invisible from the outside? Don't copy the Ferrari. Study the engine. That's where the lesson is. Fourth rule, stop oversharing. If you want to become harder to manipulate, learn to protect your own information. People post their location, their routine, their workplace, their school, their favorite coffee shop, their vacation dates, their house, their daily schedule. Then they wonder why strangers know too much about them. Come on. You don't need to announce your entire life to the internet. Online safety authorities specifically recommend limiting location information, reviewing privacy settings, and avoiding posts that reveal routines or frequently visited places. Privacy isn't paranoia. Privacy is control. You don't need to disappear from society. You just don't need to broadcast every damn move. And there's another side to this. Don't demand information from other people that you wouldn't want them demanding from you. That's the standard. If someone voluntarily shares something publicly, you can observe it. If they don't want you contacting them, respect it. If they block you, you're blocked. If they say no, it's no. If they don't want their location tracked, don't track it. Having the ability to find information doesn't mean you have the right to use it however you want. That's discipline. And discipline is what separates intelligence from stupidity. Fifth rule, master the art of silence. You don't need to react to everything. This is one of the most powerful upgrades you can make. Somebody says something stupid. You don't have to jump in. Somebody insults you. You don't have to explode. Somebody tries to provoke you. You don't have to dance for them. Observe, breathe, think, then respond. Because when you're constantly reacting, other people control your emotions. Think about that. One message can ruin your entire afternoon. One comment can make you angry. One stranger online can make you question yourself. Why? Because you handed them the remote control. Take it back. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to respond to every idiot. Sometimes the strongest response is nothing. Silence gives you information. People reveal more when you stop interrupting them. Let them talk. Let them explain. Let them contradict themselves. Let them show you who they are. You don't have to force the truth out of people. Sometimes you just need to shut up long enough for it to appear. Sixth rule, become a pattern detector. Here's an exercise. For the next 7 days, stop judging people based on one interaction. Instead, observe repeated behavior. Does someone constantly complain? Does someone constantly cancel? Does someone constantly make excuses? Does someone constantly help? Does someone consistently show up? Does someone repeatedly disrespect boundaries? Patterns, patterns, patterns. Your job isn't to label people. Your job is to understand behavior and then make decisions based on evidence. That's maturity. You don't need to hate somebody because they're unreliable. You simply stop depending on them. You don't need to call somebody evil because they constantly create drama. You simply create distance. You don't need revenge. You need standards. That's a much stronger position. Seventh rule, use the internet like a library, not a hunting ground. There's a difference between researching public information and invading somebody's life. If you're researching a business, study its website, public reviews, public interviews, public announcements, and publicly available information. If you're researching a career, study people who voluntarily share their methods. If you're researching a skill, study experts. If you're researching an industry, study the market. But don't turn curiosity into obsession. Don't create fake accounts to bypass someone's boundaries. Don't track someone's location. Don't use spyware. Don't dig for private information. Don't repeatedly contact someone who doesn't want contact. That's not intelligence. That's stupidity wearing a detective costume. And eventually, it hurts somebody. The goal isn't to know everything about everyone. The goal is to know enough to make better decisions. That's the difference. 8th rule, study your environment. Walk into a restaurant. Don't immediately bury your face in your phone. Look around. Where are the exits? What's happening around you? Who is working? What's the atmosphere? How are people interacting? You don't need to become paranoid. Just become present. Walk into a meeting. Listen before speaking. Notice who dominates the conversation. Notice who actually makes decisions. Notice who everybody listens to. Notice who talks constantly but contributes nothing. You will learn more by observing 10 minutes properly than by talking for an hour. And here's where it gets funny. Most people think being loud means being confident. No. Sometimes being loud means you're terrified that nobody will notice you. Real confidence doesn't need constant advertising. You don't walk around screaming, "I'm confident." That's not confidence. That's a YouTube thumbnail. Confidence is being comfortable enough to observe before you perform. 9th rule, become harder to fool. Every advertisement is trying to make you feel something. Every influencer is presenting a version of reality. Every salesperson wants you to believe something. Every social media post is selected. Think about that. You're not seeing someone's entire life. You're seeing the 5 seconds they decided were worth showing you. So don't compare your behind the scenes to somebody else's trailer. Study the evidence. Ask, what isn't being shown? That's a powerful question. A millionaire posts the car. What isn't shown? The debt? The business? The years of work? The failures? The employees? The boring Tuesday mornings? You don't know. So don't worship the photograph. Study the reality. And finally, use this skill on yourself. This is the part most people avoid. Because it's easy to study everybody else. It's harder to study yourself. Open your own screen time report. What apps are eating your life? Look at your spending. Where does your money disappear? Look at your messages. How do you talk to people? Look at your calendar. Where does your time go? Look at your promises. How many did you keep? Now you're stalking the right person. You, not in some creepy way, in an honest way. You are investigating the only person whose life you can actually control. And when you start observing yourself without excuses, everything changes. You notice the triggers. You notice the habits. You notice the patterns. You notice the excuses. You notice when you're productive. You notice when you're weak. And once you can see the pattern, you can change the pattern. That's power. So here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, become an observer. Not a stalker, an observer. Talk less. Listen more. Research before believing. Watch patterns instead of isolated moments. Protect your privacy. Respect other people's boundaries. Study your environment. Question your assumptions. And most importantly, study yourself, because the world is full of people trying to convince you that they know what they're doing. Some do, some don't. Some are pretending, some are selling you a fantasy. Your job isn't to become cynical, your job is to become difficult to fool. And there's a massive difference. You can be kind and still be observant. You can trust people and still have standards. You can love people and still notice patterns. You can forgive someone without giving them unlimited access to your life. You can walk away without revenge. That's strength. You don't need to know everybody's secrets. You need to understand behavior. You don't need to track people. You need to track your progress. You don't need to invade someone's privacy. You need to protect your own. You don't need to become obsessed with other people's lives. You need to become obsessed with building yours. Because while you're sitting there analyzing somebody else's Instagram story for the 47th time, somebody else is building the life you keep talking about. Enough. Stop watching. Start building. Stop comparing. Start improving. Stop chasing information that doesn't matter. Start collecting evidence about what actually works. Your life doesn't change because you know more gossip. Your life changes because you become more disciplined, more aware, more focused, more difficult to manipulate, more capable of seeing reality without needing it to look pretty. That's the real skill. Not stalking. Awareness, not obsession. Discipline, not invasion. Observation, and if you master that, you'll walk into rooms differently. You'll make decisions differently. You'll choose friends differently. You'll choose opportunities differently. You'll protect your time differently. And eventually, you'll look back and realize something. You didn't need to figure everyone else out. You needed to figure yourself out. So put the phone down. Look up. Pay attention. Your life is happening right in front of you. And this time, don't miss it.